Hello and welcome to this quick guide on how to design a hub in Crayta. A hub is essentially a game world which allows us to teleport to different game worlds. But it can also be a space to hang out with our friends and collect together before we go off on our adventures in Crayta. A good way to tell your players that they are in a hub is to avoid giving them game mechanics from the very beginning. So don't force them into a game straight away with an objective. Give them a chance to gather their bearings and let them know that this is the kind of place where there isn't an objective. You can kind of use it how you want to. Another good way to tell players that this is a hub they've arrived in is by showing them a portal or two. By showing them portals when they first arrive, they're now learning what portals look like in your game and they will be drawn towards them. Let's go and investigate this portal over here. So I've tried to make it as eye-catching as possible to stand out from the background the rest of the game. The portal uses a couple of techniques to do that. One is motion with the traffic lights and the effect, and the other is bright contrast against the background. When it comes to making something that you can use to teleport, I would avoid doing trigger boxes or anything like that and randomly and surprisingly teleporting players to different game worlds. Instead, force your player to interact with something or some kind of active input to make sure that they know before they get teleported what choice they are making. If I stand on here, you can see in the bottom right corner it says press E to travel to world. And that's me telling my players, okay, you've arrived at a portal, you're not in the portal yet, but you can be if you interact with it. It avoids surprising them with loading screens that they weren't expecting to see, or just navigating away from my game world when they might not have finished exploring. A couple of useful techniques for designing the hub layout. You want to try and present the different portals to your player and also encourage them to explore your game. So don't be afraid to position them around your game world, but try and make them very clear where they are to the player so they don't get confused or lost in a maze of different meshes and voxel meshes. You want them to kind of know a general direction to go. In my game world, I've done this by building it on the side of a mountain, and also used pathways to help direct the player towards the different portals. So even when it's, for example, across a beach here, I'm using these stepping stones to try and direct them towards that portal. And you can see the primary pathway here is all lit up in neons, and that's really there to sort of suggest strongly to a player that this might be a fun way to go. I'm not stopping them from going off-piste or even throwing themselves off the edge of the hotel, but I'm encouraging them to maybe think about going in this direction to avoid any unnecessary deaths. And that's my main tips and my quick guide for how to design a portal, and I look forward to seeing you in Crayta.